Youth Development, Barnaba Korir, also the General Manager for Olympics team ahead of Tokyo Olympics game that will be staged in July. Now, as we start our interview, kindly, it is one of the most engaging interviews that we are doing right now. And as we start, Chairman, thank you very much for welcoming us to your home. It is not something that is easy for you to do, but today we've managed to be at your home. We must appreciate that.
You're welcome, Sabuni.
Yes.
You're welcome at my home.
Thank you very much. Now, let's start with this monitor in the house about the Olympics. You've been given a very big position to manage a very big contingent of athletes in the 2021 Olympic Games. How are you prepared for such a big task, Cham?
Sabuni, this is not the first time that I've been given this opportunity to handle the team. In 2018, during the Commonwealth Games in Gold Coast in Australia, I was the chief mission for the team to that Commonwealth that year. And given the opportunity yet again to lead this team to the Olympics, it's an honor by National Olympic Committee,
Yes.
and also the federation that gave me this chance, and I'm ready to handle it.
According to the CS, also some other federations, they're talking about taking more than 100 athletes to the championships, to Olympic Games. That means you have that mantle to handle such a big team. Psychologically, how are you prepared for that? It's all about psychology and
It is the passion that I have in athletics and sports generally, because when you believe that you can contribute something to the community of athletics, this is a chance now, because you are given an opportunity, but you seized it with the belief that you have the capacity to handle it. So this is not a big problem for me, because I know that I have that passion to make sure that this team succeeds. We have several teams now, 8 of teams federations that have qualified, including athletics, rugby, men and women. We have also taekwondo, we have swimming, we have also table tennis that are also trying to qualify, and volleyball that have already qualified, and the first team that won in Africa. So with that knowledge and the fact that I have been in athletics for a long time, it is not difficult to engage the other federations and work together. We have also been in contact. This is not the first time working with other federations, as I told you, that we worked together also in 2018 during the Commonwealth. So this is not very difficult, knowing that the people that in the management that worked with me as a chief de mission are the same people also we are working together. So with that knowledge, it makes it easier for me to handle all of them and to engage every team manager that has already been appointed to lead their teams, and I organize all of them, work with the chief de mission, and to ensure that they get all the facilitation that they require. And I want to tell you that we have got the support from the government this time around. The ambassador Amina Mohammed, who is the CS, the PS also Mr. Joe Budo for sports, arts and culture, and the people who are also passionate about sports, and we work together, and that general agreement to achieve certain areas to succeed makes it easier for us who are in the management to handle these games.
Starting from the 1956, when Kenya first made the entries into world events, you realize that many medals come from track events, and you look at the ball games like rugby, we've qualified, boxing. I think the last time we had was Wangila. The last time we had a boxing title or medal. In 2018, we had another bronze from, I think, Christine Ongare. So what are some of the things maybe you are doing so that we get more medals from ball games and other events apart from the normal track and field?
You know, Sabuni, to develop an athlete or a sports person to the national status is not easy. It takes
Yes,
time also.
yeah.
And for somebody to succeed requires a period of time. Normally in athletics, for a successful athlete to reach Olympics requires not less than 3 years. So when you see some of these athletes competing and winning, it is not that they just came out of the blue and win the races. If you look at the history, because I know you have always been with them here, you understand that they have really struggled for a period of time. So
Yes,
when
they
it
are.
when it goes now to other federations, which we also talk to them, we explain that the structures that we have in athletics is totally different from them because we have it from the grassroots. We have the regions, we have the counties, we have the sub counties, all the way to the wards. We have structures. From that, we have now Ministry of Education that has got their own programs also within schools, primary and secondary schools. We engage with them. We have partnership with the Ministry of Education in the sports department to work together and to ensure that we nurture the talented athletes who are school going, both in primary and secondary. Primary schools, they have their own structure. Secondary schools, they have those structures. Within that group, we have also athletes, we have coaches who are also working with AK and to ensure they continue their regions. And when they have their own championship, we always go there to ensure that we follow their program. And when we identify now the talented athletes, we give the support that is required for them to be part and parcel of athletics. And that's how we encourage them. We have championship also for the youth. We have championship for the juniors, and then now the general championship that we always have. And within that, we used to have what we call the triangular between colleges, secondary schools, primary schools, and then now the other competition. So that now was the epitome of organization for athletics, and that is why Kenya has always topped all over the world. It is because of the structures that has already been put in place. We want also to replicate, especially now the other federations. When you have rugby, they have their clubs also.
Yes.
But then the infights between the rugbies, sometimes also football, the fights they have, also undermines the development of the sport. So if they also have the structures and like ours, definitely we have talent in this country, not only for athletics, it is also for other sports that are really good, and that is what we need as a country to go to commit ourselves. And the leadership in AK is totally different from the leadership from the others. There are too many wrangles from the other federations,
Yes, yes.
and that is what kills the sport. Here, we make sure that we give priority to the athlete. If we have our own differences, we don't want athletes to be affected, and even if we have our own issues as leaders, the organization of athletics continues unabated, and to ensure that the athletes get what they deserve.
Recently, Kenya Rugby Union introduced the rugby that is in primary schools. They say that they want to start nurturing rugby players from primary schools. Initially it was in secondary schools. Do you see maybe when that is in the next 4 years when you're heading to the Olympics as the manager, will you have some of the best team that has been nurtured from primary school?
Absolutely. If you look at other countries, the developed countries, you look like US, Britain, and other nations. They have programs. If they are preparing for the World Championship, let us say next year, they have the systems, they have the budget, and everything is done, and they have already started. When you are preparing for the Olympics now for 2024, they have already set up their own programs. The money has already been set aside because it's an ongoing process. The only problem that has killed our sport here is that we wait until the last minute, is when the budget and the money is given, and then you start running around. I always say that even when we were in this organizing this event with our leaders since last year, and I said, you see, if you don't give the money now, and you wait until every and you give the money to the athletes, it's not going to help. So sometimes it's even better to stay. Because at the end of the day, you give an athlete some money to go and train, they are not prepared, and you expect them to go and do well during the Olympics, and they have never have proper training. It is not is worthless. But if you really want to develop sport, then start from the beginning. The moment you put aside a budget, then give it out, and then they follow the program they have given when they were requesting for that budget, and then now the government can foresee what is going on. That is where the problem comes in. Secondly, it is the leadership of every federation. For Athletics Kenya, of course, maybe there's some rumbles around here and there, but it does not affect the the, the programs of athletics. That is normal, and that's politics. That is okay. When you go to other federations, it's like do or die. That is why now you put aside all the athletes or the sportsmen and women, and you don't care about them. So you think
When
about
you
yourself.
fight the junior, the
Yes.
ones you are leading are now the ones who are
Yes, but
suffering.
now when you have rugby now, thinking of starting the program at the grassroots level when they are young, I can assure you, in just a few years, you will have the best team in the country, as long as they don't engage in also activities that will undermine also the development. Football in this country would be the best. They have the best players, but then sometimes you see the conditions they go through also. It's really heart wrenching because at the end of the day, when you go and plan, and sometimes maybe you don't consider the interest, the welfare of the footballer, I don't know how you doing. Because at the end of the day, you need to give that person a chance. You need to give the resources. You need to give the finance. You need to give the equipment that they will use in preparing. But sometimes we cheat ourselves and say, okay, we have the best team. Nothing. You don't have the best team when you don't put them in camp. Give them all the resources they require. Give them the shoes. Pay them something so that they don't have to go and start hustling around to get money, and you'll get the best team. But as long as you're not doing that, you will just go round and round.
But how do you always handle these wrangles in AK? Because yes, they are there, but how do you always handle it? Because you realize in other federations, people will come, they fight, and then you hear nothing. For example, elections. You guys, you went through other federations, but anyway, I think with that one we might talk it for another day. Athletics is where your heart is. That is track and field. You competed for yourself. Now, before maybe we start the athletics, that is track and field events, tomorrow, that is Sunday, we have Milano Marathon, where our great athletes like Abel Kirui, I hope you know him.
I know Abel very well.
Kennedy Mungara,
Yes.
you know him. I know you are with him in Gold Coast.
Yes.
Bonis Kitur, they're also running there. Just say something before we start a very serious conversation when it comes to athletics.
Yes, I want to wish them all the best of luck. I know whenever a Kenyan takes part in a competition, they are always very competitive, and they go to win. I've never seen an athlete from Kenya that goes for a game and then they don't give all the best. I saw even heart-wrenching video of one athlete, 50 meters to the finish line or less, started walking on their knees.
Yes.
You can see that kind of determination
Yes.
to win,
Yes.
and that is what has exemplified our own athletes wherever they go. So those who are running tomorrow in Milan, we want to wish them all the best as Kenyans. I know they are going to win, and to uphold the flag of this country. So we wish them luck.
Now back to, you are the chairman of youth development. We have World Under 20 ahead of us. That is in August. We have like less than 3 months to go. How prepared are you for such like big event after the World Under 18 that was very successful?
You remember this event was supposed to have taken place last year in July. It was actually from 5th until 12th of July 2020. It did not take place because you know very well that the COVID-19 messed us up, and we had already prepared well at that time. So this is just a continuation of what was done last year, which should have completed the hosting of that event. Now we are hosting it from 17 until 22nd August. I'm in the committee for the 120 LOC, and they have done a very good job. The chairman being the president of Athletics Kenya, the CEO also is a rugby player, and we have gelled together. We work, we coordinate, and we ensure that all the parameters required as per World Athletics has been done.
Yes.
In fact, early June we will be having visitors from World Athletics to inspect the stadium and any other facility that is required to be up and running before the games. So far, we have received equipment from Tokyo, shoes and clothing that will be used by the technical officials that have already arrived. We have also received a synthetic track from Mondo that will be laid at the university for the warm-up track for the athletes. And the stadium itself, the surrounding stadium, is ready to host that event. So what we are doing now is to ensure that everything is in place. We don't forget anything. We have our own timelines that has already been achieved, and the secretariat is working through. So far, so good.
Now, with the World Under 20, someone when you hosted the event in Machakos, one athlete called Meshach Kipkogei asked me about. He says he's going to do javelin and he's ready to win a medal for Kenya. He comes from Nandi County. He said that he wants to compete in this event. How should he go by so that he qualifies it for such like event? He told me he has thrown 62 meters.
Yeah, 62, and if he's under 20, then
he's in Form 2.
He's in Form 2. What we have done, in Machagos we did selections. We are going to do the selection at every county. Next week we are doing it in Kapsabet. So if Meshach is ready to come and throw the javelin, we'll also provide the javelins that they will be using
for him.
So he should be. We'll bring it, and then he can come and throw it. The reason why I'm doing that, and on my committee, is to ensure that we give opportunity to every athlete who is under 20 to try and qualify or to make the cut for the trials, so that nobody will feel that we were left out or we were not considered. So we did it last year. The pre-trial that was in November. We selected 80 athletes. Now we want to throw a wider net again to ensure that we capture everybody for that race, because we have the trials on the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of July. We want to give opportunity to all our athletes that have the capability to make the team.
Now, my last question or concern about the World Athletics 2025 bid. As a federation, it's a big event. How prepared are you? And the government is giving support. CS said that this should be one of the best events we've ever had in Kenya.
Yes, for us to arrive there, we have had other international events in this country, starting from World Cross Country Championship, Senior African Championship in 2020, 2007, that was cross country. And we have had also under 18, 2017. And now we are going to have this 2020. We have also the Continental Tour last year. It was all of them were very successful. The world also looks at us and say, yes, maybe we are mature enough to organize a bigger event. We have the infrastructure, we have the hotels, we have the capacity from the technical officials who are qualified, trained by World Athletics. So everything is in place. The only thing that we need to have is the guarantee from the government, which they are ready to do that, and they have done that. So what we need to do is to have an exceptional event despite the COVID this year, and then Continental Tour in September, and we are home and try. We will now try to beat fighting against South Africa and maybe Nigeria and Tunisia and Algeria, and I'm sure that with the quality of our athletes, the quality of the events we are organizing, and the infrastructure that is developing now in Nairobi, the hotels that are there, I think we could be able to be considered. And remember that AK was also ranked as one of the top 5 federations in the world.
Chairman, thank you very much for your time.
Welcome.
Hope to see you
soon
to host a very successful events ahead of us.
Yes.
For viewers, thank you very much for watching. See you next week for another big interview. Thank you very much.